Hey, welcome back to the CommonGround North Dakota Podcast. I'm Heather.
And I'm Jen.
I've been a chef for 10 years.
And I'm a registered dietitian. We've all heard the saying, farm to table. But what if the conversation was table to farm?
Join Jenn and I as we sit down with ag experts to dig in and find out more about North Dakota agriculture. Good morning. Welcome back to CommonGround North Dakota Podcast. I'm Heather.
I'm Jen.
And we're here for another recording today. I'm excited.
Yes. Yeah, we learned from Margie last time about her connection to farming and how she kind of got started and how they transferred farms.
Yes. And the
operations
kids and the family and how she makes it all work, which is
right.
So interesting and not easy.
No, like multitasking at its best. It seems like she's the master of it.
Yes.
Which I feel like as moms and ladies, we just make it work. And I think the ladies that we have on today definitely understand that.
Absolutely. They're great examples of that.
Yeah.
So we've got two great guests here today. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. We have Leanne and Chelsea.
So where are you right now? Chelsea, are you checking on that bull already this morning or what's going on?
We are actually waiting for word from the choppers. We're supposed to chop our oats today for our oat village pile, and it rained a little bit last night. So we're in limbo waiting to see if they still want to chop. So I came and I put all my kids in the tractor as my husband so I could have a quiet sound booth.
That worked.
That's awesome.
Okay, but is the bull doing okay? I saw that the bull was limping on your Instagram stories yesterday, and I've been thinking about him. How's he doing today?
We treated him, and I'm going to go check on him as soon as we're done here. So update to come.
Okay, good, good.
Does the bull have a name?
Just a number.
And Leanne, where are you today?
I'm actually down in Detroit, a summer board meeting with the Northwest Bean Growers Association board of directors that I serve on.
Oh, great.
That's amazing. Representing.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for making time for us today. It seems like you're busy ladies. Every day, I'm sure, is something new. What's life like on the farm?
Oh, goodness. I would say that every day is different, but for the most part, during the summer rhythm, we get up, we're still doing chores. We have cows that are not on grass, so we're doing chores there, doing chores in the feedlot, and then finding a summer project that needs to get done before the tundra returns to us.
Right? There's not a ton of time. You have to get it all done. And so with you, Chelsea, that includes raising kids, right? So you're doing these chores and you're bringing the kids along with you?
Yes. And it was funny when I told my husband I was bringing the kids down, he was like, well, all three of them? What am I going to do? Like, that's kind of hard. But the village at the farm makes the biggest difference. It's very difficult to get anything done efficiently. There's three of them in tow. So the village usually plays musical kids with us, and 1 to 2 kids is much more manageable than 3 at a time.
Mm-hmm. But I feel like you've made things work. I was reading your blog this morning and just some of the helpful tips. I'm like, man, if I had little kids again, I'd be like all over those suggestions that you make because they're like very practical things.
Right. Really good suggestions.
Thank you. Yes, we are definitely in the heart of little kids.
For sure.
And Leanne, I bet that brings back a lot of memories for you raising kids on the farm. And you went through this too, right?
Yes. And so it's helpful to have experience, but also eye-opening just to see how much people have evolved and have other things that are to come with it.
Right.
So good to see and good to have the kids there.
Yeah. And it's a family operation. So what kinds of things do you grow on your farm? I know you said you have cows and you were talking about oats.
Yes. We grow corn, edible beans, mainly pinto beans, and oats for steam.
Oh, yum. We love beans
here.
Yeah, we
do.
We're
big bean people.
So we love bean people.
Well, I think it comes naturally with our like dietitian chef, like very healthy food. Speaking of food, you also have a feed business on your farm. Is that correct?
We are a Purina feed dealer that we started in 2003.
Okay. And what brought that on? Was there a need in your area? Was that something that you guys wanted to incorporate yourselves?
Actually, our local Purina dealership had closed. And so Purina had contacted us to see if, as we were a customer, asked if we'd be interested in having the store. And at that time, we were just no idea that we would have time to do that, or interest in it because just busy with the farm and ranch.
Yeah.
And then they contacted us again the following year and asked, would you like to be a dealer? Because at that time we were a direct account. And then we said, well, only if we could do it on the farm, not have to have a brick and mortar store in our town. And they said, yes, that would be okay with them. And from there, it's grown to be what it is today.
And what kind of is it animal feed then?
Yes, animal feed and pet food.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I love that you made it work for you. You said, okay, we can do it, but this is the way we have to do it.
True. That was part of, at that time, they didn't have very many on-farm businesses that were Purina dealers. So most of them are like a brick and mortar store.
Okay.
And so for us, we were somewhat unique because going and visiting with other Purina dealers, they would have products brought in where as a farmer, then we could also use, products that we had on hand, like our corn, which we use in our livestock feed and things like that. So we were able to utilize what we had on hand as well. So that worked out well for us.
Is it a multi-generational farm then, Leanne? Because so what are your roles?
Right. Well, you're a mother-daughter duo. Have we said that yet?
No.
Yeah. So mother-daughter duo. So yeah, what are your roles on the farm?
I started farming in 2018 along with my brother after my grandpa retired. So since 2018, I would say that we are still trying to get things shifted onto the next generation and figure out where everyone fits well. I really enjoy the cows and I feel like I'm most helpful in the cows and the business side of things. And we all have our different strengths that work together. So we all pitch in, do what needs to be done. We work as a team every day. And we're still getting to the point where we have the CEO of this and the CEO of that, but we call my dad the chief of chiefs, which I hope he doesn't hear because he doesn't. But
he doesn't like that.
No, he doesn't like that. But it takes someone to be the leader of everyone, and he has the vision and leads us and continues to be the chief of our group.
That's awesome. And so, what kind of cows?
Commercial Black Angus, and
okay.
My parents decided to dabble in some Semitols because of the feedlot. They thought that would be fun. So they turn out nice calves, but nobody really likes to hang out with the semis during calving.
Oh, why? Because
why?
they get a little rowdy or what?
This group is. So I don't want to speak for all semis, but this group is rowdy. Yeah, they're a rodeo.
I didn't know that different
different breeds have different personalities.
Yeah. Well, although we did hear about that from Cows and Creamery, like the brown, what was it? The brown ones.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And they're curious. So I guess they do. Every animals have their different personalities.
So 2018, you came back to the farm, you said. So yeah, that hasn't been super long where you've been in it full time. I know you grew up on the farm. Is this something you saw yourself doing?
Good question. Growing up, my parents always were very clear that they would make room on the farm for all three of us. I have two brothers, and it was never a question of would there be room. There would always be room. They would always find something for all of us. And at one point, I think the idea was that someone could do the feedlot, someone could do the farm, someone could do cows, and we would all have autonomy over our futures. But the way it worked out so far has not been that way, for the better. I really like it this way. I went to college at NDSU for Ag Econ because I loved agriculture and I loved the farm, but I wasn't sure if that was the right place for me. And then after graduating, I received a job offer to go work at a local John Deere dealer where I created a data management department and then scaled that.
Wow.
Which was a great opportunity to learn and grow from the best. I rubbed shoulders and sat at really important tables, and it was an incredible life experience that I feel gave me resources to bring back to the farm. So after doing that for 4 years, I felt like I wanted to grow something more for a family, more for myself rather than a company. And during that time, I had been running cows with my parents on the farm. And so it worked well to come back to the farm full time when my grandparents retired.
Wow. But
story.
Great experience that you had and able to bring that back and use it in your family business.
Definitely, yes.
And you can feel, so both Jen and I spent some time on your social media and reading your blog, and you have such a passion. It's contagious for farming.
For sure.
I told Jen this morning I want a Ranger because all your Ranger posts.
Yes.
There's a lot of ways we can use them.
For sure.
Right?
Very versatile.
Yes. And I love your enthusiasm. And, you being a female farmer, you have such an interesting perspective that's so refreshing.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And the farm means so much to me. It's been on my post list for a while to put it into words, and it's very difficult to put into words. It's almost like a family member or a whole family. Like the farm is really a part of our family, and it's very important to all of us.
And Leanne, how did you get into farming? Tell us your backstory.
I actually grew up in Western North Dakota at Beulah, where my family farmed and ranched as well. So I have 3 brothers. I'm the 3rd oldest. And so I farmed and ranched since I was growing up, and went to college at NDSU. I went for animal science and communication. So that's my background. And early on, I was the editor in a local newspaper and did that. So my background kind of leans towards more communication side, I guess so. But then met Jeff in Fargo, and then ended up coming back to be on his farm here.
And where are you guys? Where's your farm located?
We are about 10 miles west of New Rockford.
Okay.
Close to Bremen. So that's kind of like our little local town is we're just 4 miles from Bremen.
Cool.
So I didn't realize that, Leanne, that you grew up on a farm as well. So you've known this. This is in your blood.
Yes. And one thing I feel privileged is, even though as a girl, I was just one of the kids. And so my job, I was treated as capable of being able to do any job on the farm too as my brothers. So it's just a matter of your job depended on who was above you, who got a better job that you moved up, or things like, what they need help with. So yes, farming and ranching has been in my family as well. So I'm 4th generation on my family farm back home.
That's great.
Awesome.
And I love how you gave the opportunity to your children. Like Chelsea was saying, that they knew that there was a place for them, but you weren't forcing it. Was that important for you and your husband to do it that way?
Well, the kids growing up were very involved with the farm. So, they were doing jobs and work on the farm as well. So it wasn't something that they were expected to be there, but given an opportunity, if they chose to be there, we would surely welcome them, because for Jeff, he's the 5th generation. And so for him, it was a lot of pride, a lot of sentimental part of him to be able to carry on that family farm. So, and that's, like I said, contagious. So we just want to definitely give that back. And also knowing that we're just caretakers of the land that we have while we're here, and try and do the best job we can while we're doing that.
I love it. And Chelsea, you must feel the same way, because on your social media, you have your kids involved. And is that your hope to raise them similar to how you've been raised and incorporate them into the farming operation? And does your 5-year-old help?
Actually, there's a lot of questions here, but the first one I want to lead with was Cade was recently 2, like freshly 2. And I was trying to put the pusher on the skid steer to push up feed bunks in the feedlot, and I was having a hard time doing it. He pushed up bunks with my dad very frequently. So he has very limited language, freshly turned 2, and he is giving me suggestions on how to get this pusher hooked up to the skid steer.
I love it.
Did he have some good ideas?
Oh, yes. His ideas are great. I mean, he pays attention. His abilities are incredible. So the gift that the farm has already given my kids it's heartwarming. It's heart swelling. It's incredible, the things that they've learned already. So I'm very grateful for that.
That's awesome. I love it. The fresh ideas from the 2-year-olds.
Right. Well, and it's this idea of business and entrepreneurial minds. I see that so much within your story, where everyone is just thinking, okay, what's next? How can we do this better? And I feel like with farming, and especially family farms, it is this business where you're all working together and try to get better each year.
Well, and I think too, you're both using your gifts. Like Leanne, you talked about communications and animal science being your areas of study. And Chelsea, ag econ was where you grew. And like, I think those naturally tie together in working a business, and especially with a family, finding what you're passionate about. And that's kind of what you alluded to Chelsea, when you were talking about your siblings and how you all work together, and you're still trying to find, like, what are you passionate about? What area of the farm are you going to be most successful with? And I love that. I love it.
Kind of evolving, right? Like it's always evolving. Well, and then the fact that you're both women working in this industry and plus moms. And I think as working moms, we can identify with that's not easy. Finding that elusive balance between work and home. How do you do that on the farm?
I think that's why I bring my kids with, because otherwise I would never see them or I would never have the chance to be at the farm. So even though this is incredibly difficult, more days than it isn't, looking back through the camera roll, speaking to my kids and seeing everything that they have absorbed, that's why we keep doing it, because I don't know how else I would do it otherwise.
Yeah, I love the picture that I looked at this morning of you had your baby in the backpack and there was a cow in the stall and you were looking at it. Anyway, you were talking about the 2-year-old sometimes gets to ride in the backpack too.
Oh yes, we tell her as much as we can.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about multitasking, right?
For
Just
sure.
doing it all.
Because you kind of need hands to work with the cattle, I suppose. So the baby goes on the back. I love it. I love it. So what are some of your favorite parts?
I really enjoy the challenge of finding opportunity. Like my mom mentioned before, agriculture is full of opportunity and it continues to change. So it'll not be the same opportunity this year as it was last year, and it won't be the same next year. So we're always on the hunt for what could we change and do differently. We find that opportunity and then chase it and make something of it. I enjoy the challenge.
I like the diversity that each day brings. So get up in the morning, you have your game plan going, but things will change. And so you have to just evolve with what's going on for the day. So I do like that constant, keeping you going, and not every day is the same. So you got hidden blessings every day. So sometimes you don't always see them as blessings, but just challenges. But they are definitely blessings to help you grow and to be a better producer, a better person every day.
Perhaps we're adrenaline junkies. We all do a lot better on our crazy busy seasons than we do on these slow seasons where we have a moment to take a breath and say, what should we do next? We're definitely firing more efficiently when things are wild. And it's just like, okay, go as efficiently and safely and quickly as you can.
Talk a little bit about those seasons, Chelsea, for those that maybe don't understand. What are your busiest seasons, would you describe? Is it calving season, planting? Like, does that happen all at once?
Sort of, yes. So we have a small window that we choose to calve in because we do not have barn space for all of our cows, and we need to be down in time to go to the field. So we start calving roughly the end of March, beginning of April.
Okay.
So it gets wild, and it stays wild through calving. And as soon as calving is wrapping up, and sometimes before it's done, we go to the field. So my mom and I will finish calving while all the guys go to the field, and we help keep them going. And once that's done, we roll into spring. And now we kind of have a bit of a lull during haying. It's not as go, go, go. The dew in the morning gives us a break. And very shortly, we will be gearing up for harvest. And then that'll be wild through harvest, hauling bales home. And then we'll catch our breath a bit to feed cows in the winter until we start over.
So it's just go, go, go. And how many calves are we talking about, Chelsea, when you say calving?
When calving is wild, we are getting 25 to 30 a day.
Whoa.
Oh my. That's a lot of babies.
Yes. 25 to 30 a day. And how long is the calving season?
We breed for 45 days. So only 45. Bell curve. It starts, gets wild, and then comes back.
Okay.
And how many cows do you currently have on your farm?
So that is such an interesting question. And I'm glad that you asked. I understand where the question comes from. Scale. How do you do what you're doing? Is this a small operation? Is it a large operation? And as a 6th generation, I feel uncomfortable answering it because they're not all my cows. They're everyone's cows.
Oh, okay.
He's answering for someone else more than myself.
Sure.
Things that my husband on her own, that feels more comfortable to say, hey, this is what we've amassed on our own. But generationally, that is private number. So I can tell you 25 to 30 a day when it's wild. And we have our whole family that works here. So my dad, my mom, my brother, myself, I bring my kids. So then I don't know if you count me as half, but then sometimes Cade, my 4-year-old, that's another half. And then also 3 employees. So we all work on that project together.
That's not so many people for how many calves. Like, you're working hard.
Yeah, for sure.
That's incredible. And I love the legacy part that you're talking about. And I noticed you're selling on your blog, you have the book of memories that you can buy. So if you're a farmer, you can buy this book and talk about the legacy of the farm and tell the stories. And That was such a great idea because what we're learning through this podcast, it's all about the stories, right?
And where will they go after the generations have lost them? So it's really special to me. My mom has a stenographic notebook that she has been recording our Hokey Pokey game results in, and then a little blurb about the year and how precious that is to go with everything else for the farm. Like, to me, the farm is the land and the legacy. Like my mom said, we're here to care for it. It's for ours. It's just our turn to take care of it. And then we'll pass it on to the next generation along with this book of memories.
That's awesome.
Okay, wait, Leanne, what's the Hokey Pokey game? What's that?
So this is a tradition that I married into the family with, and they said they've been doing it going back as long as they could remember. But on New Year's Eve, you would take a container and put under it we use a cracker for, which would be crop. And then we use jewelry. So usually a ring would be our luck. And then a coin for money. And so it's like that 3 container shell game kind of thing. So you would mix them up and then you would choose which container. And so that would be preluding to what next year is going to be, or forecasting what next year would be. So it's each family member does their turn and then we record them down. So then we tally up the total. And so that's for the family, is it going to be a lucky year if we got more jewelry? Okay. That it would be for crop or money. And so, and then before, originally was doing it, I was not writing down the results at the end of the year. So then until we started talking, like, well,
you need to know what happened.
How was that last year?
Yeah, you can't compare.
So now looking back on the notebook, it was just, right. So
that's
with Chelsea's memory book, it's definitely, so you can have that nice place to write it. Everybody knows where it's at, can page through it and look back on it and see, and then also a place to write your memories of what were the highlights of the year. What were things that maybe changed the trajectory of your farm. Mm-hmm. And so those are things that in writing so that you can share those memories or share the education with others of what worked, what didn't work. Right. Those are things that will be memorable.
When you start to forget those things, it's like a baby book, right? Like there's all these great stories. And if you don't write them down, you're not going to remember.
Yeah. It's like, what did I have for lunch yesterday? I don't know. Didn't write it down.
Are we ready for host halftime?
I think so. Let
We're
me get our boards.
as ready as we'll ever be.
All righty.
Do you guys have some good trivia questions for us?
We'll let you be the judge of how good they are.
Okay.
I'm excited.
We're ready.
Or nervous.
Which species contributes pulmonary surfactant to NICUs to help premature babies breathe?
I mean, there's a lot there, Chelsea, but...
Okay, say it again.
Okay. Which species contributes pulmonary surfactant to NICUs, which helps premature babies' lungs develop?
My colleagues over at Altru are probably
Jen,
going to be embarrassed.
Know this.
I should know this.
Oh, yes. Cattle.
Cows.
Bingo. Yes.
Yay!
Cows. They take...
That's really cool.
That is very cool. So tell us more about that.
Who figured that out?
I have yet to find that, but they have foam that they take from cows' lungs and they produce pulmonary surfactant, which then goes to NICUs and it helps babies' lungs develop. And as of last spring, when I was reading into this more, there was yet to be a synthetic alternative. So cows are saving babies.
That's amazing.
We love babies.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Well, we love cows too.
And
we love cows and babies. Okay.
That was a great question.
Good. See, we learned something.
We did.
Thank you, Chelsea.
All right. We're ready for number 2.
So what do some ranchers use to help keep their waters clean?
What do some ranchers use to keep their water clean?
What do they put into their water to help keep their waters clean? Yes.
Put into their water. Okay. What did you put?
I put salt.
Yeah, salt.
That wouldn't probably be as much. We're looking for goldfish. So they put goldfish.
No way.
Because they eat all the stuff?
Eat the algae.
You're kidding.
So that keeps waters clean and helps cattle have clean waters.
Do you do that on your farm?
No, we haven't. We haven't been successful. We tried, but we do have artesian water, so it's a little bit higher salt in it. So we weren't able to keep the goldfish alive on that one. But that would be
Goldfish.
an option for
Goldfish. All right.
Genius.
Okay, tiebreaker, last one.
Okay.
Which direction do sunflowers bloom?
Oh.
Like south. Okay.
Like the specific or like just an answer?
Is it gonna be?
Because
I'm saying south.
So as the sunflower fields grow, I hope you'll be able to see one now that you know this. The sunflower bulb will follow the sun until it blooms, and it will bloom to the east.
Oh, east.
okay.
I feel like Jen gets it though, because
it's kind of a half. I mean, I'll take it though.
So the
because I
east.
rarely win.
Okay. I need to check that out because they are always going the same way.
Yeah, and then it like kind of follows.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good questions, ladies.
Wow. I'm impressed at our knowledge now. I mean, those are going to be the tips that I share with like my friends and like colleagues. I'll be like, did you know? We have one final question for you ladies that we ask everybody. So and I kind of alluded to it earlier, but what's your favorite part about being connected to the North Dakota agriculture team or group or family?
I think for me, the agriculture family is such a special one. It's tight and it's close-knit, and you may not know everyone personally by name or even by face, but you watch out for them because we're all a part of agriculture. And I think that's tough to replicate or find in other industries, and this place it's really special.
That's awesome. How about you, Leanne?
Along that same line, I think that we feel that we're all in this together. And so we rejoice when somebody has good times, and, we're cheering them on, as well as when you're having hardships, they come together and help each other out as well. So for us, I think it's that family aspect and just knowing that we're supporting our state and trying to do the best that we can in keeping agriculture going.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for joining us, Leanne, before your board meeting. You got to hustle out. And Chelsea, I hope you can get in that field today. Have you heard about the oats yet?
No messages yet. So we will run the swimming lessons and then we'll be back.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, thanks so much, ladies, for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So much.
I know, right? And for the direction of the sunflower.
I know.
East. Now we know.
It's following the sun, but then ultimately east.
Mm-hmm. And goldfish. I mean, I would never guess. I thought it was more of a mineral or something you add, not an actual lake.
To clean the water. So we could use those instead of like a Brita. You could just have a little goldfish.
Maybe.
Yeah. Is that what? Only if you're a cow.
Right.
Okay. So I won't try that. But they were great. I love that. Yeah, that was our first mother-daughter duo, which was really fun to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And the legacy that they have and how they have built that.
Right. And stewards of the land. I love how they said like it's about this land.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So next we have a Common Ground gal,
right. We got to talk more about Common Ground on Common Ground.
I mean, awesome.
Okay. So tune in next time and we'll see you again.
Yeah. Join us anywhere you listen to podcasts. And thanks for viewing.
Thanks for tuning in to the Common Ground North Dakota podcast. Make sure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Most importantly, send us your questions about North Dakota agriculture by visiting our website. You might win a prize. We'll see you in the next episode of the Common Ground North Dakota podcast.